My name is Sandra Pupatello, and I'm running for the leadership of the Ontario Liberal Party and to be the Premier of Ontario. I just want people to remember three things about me, and that is I want to talk about jobs and the economy, and that's what I will be bringing back into the conversation for the public. And the second thing is I need to be very careful. I'm going to be, as I've been growing up, a very frugal person, and I want people to know that we will take care of the public purse, take care of taxpayers' dollars. And the third thing is what you see is what you get. This is who I am. I have had 16 years of elected office, telling people the truth and being honest with people, even when it's not good news. I think people deserve to see a transparency in their leader. So I hope that I can be that leader that people need today, that as we move forward, we're going to talk about jobs in the economy, and I will bring my experience as an industry minister for 5 years, as a minister of social services, minister of education, so those folks out there can see me working with partners to deliver the goods for Ontario. I may be the youngest candidate in the leadership race for the Ontario Liberal Party, but I am the oldest when it comes to length of time in the party and length of time being elected by people to serve Ontario. And let me tell you why this matters. Lots of journalists, lots of people who are poking around trying to figure out who we are as candidates, they want to get a clear picture of who this potential premier could be. I want to tell you why me. So that when you go back to your friends and family and encourage them to sign up for me as the leader, as the one who can take Ontario forward, I want you to tell them why me, why Sandra. Now, I have to say, Minister Chan is something else. You guys know what you're doing when you elect this guy to the office, and then we to have him in cabinet, not just for his connection on a bit, which is how I got to know Michael best, especially as colleague ministers, which was in economic development, with all his connections to bring investments from places in the world that he knows best, but also what he's done in his own community before being elected. That is the kind of individual that the Ontario Liberal Party attracts as candidates, and we are grateful to have him here. I can't tell you how delighted I am to have Minister Chan here with me to celebrate what I hope is going to be stepping forward into the leadership so we can take that next step, and I'll have the wise voice of Minister Chan behind me as I go through this. Thank you, Minister, for being here for me. I very much appreciate that. And Helena mentioned briefly the last time that I was here, it was a different GE building, but I can tell you it was Mayor Frank Scarpitti that had that first phone call to me, which was more than 2 or 3 years ago, and it was about, Sandra, we need this investment from the Ontario government because we can get GE to make a massive investment. And he started that ball rolling in his community, and I'll tell you, when Frank Scarpitti calls, you just start running because he's going to just keep calling. Frank, I am delighted that you are here, and I was running towards him. I did mean that, actually. I did mean that. I'm delighted that next week you're headed to China. He is bringing more investment into Ontario. Try to spread it around a little, would you? Okay, that would be good. Anyway, so thank you, Frank, for being here.
That was dynamite. We all know that we had a dynamite in our Liberal Party. Whether she's away from us, now she's coming back to us. One of the reasons that I want to support Sandra Pupatello is the fact that she's tall. When you are tall, you stand out in the crowd. Well, I was talking to Sandra not too long ago and about this leadership race, and believe it or not, this is my 8th time involved in a leadership race back in the days of the John Turner, John Chrétien, and John Robert time. So it's quite a bit of a kind of like a history for me. We all know that when Sandra was in the House, Sandra beat people up. And the other reason I supported Sandra is Sandra beat me up. So I show up today. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Sandra, for away for a year and come back and pick up this tremendous challenge. Okay, being a leader and being the future Premier of Ontario is not an easy job.
I'll tell you, the sound of Premier Pupatello, I think, sounds really, really good. So I think you're on your way to that particular title. I think all of us need to remember, and as a mayor of a municipality, I can tell you, just like you, we went through some pretty tough times. Tough times when a provincial government didn't recognize our community as one of the fastest growing areas, never mind in the province, never mind Canada, but in all of North America. We went through tough times where we saw provincial governments cut back investment in rapid transit. We saw cuts to municipalities. We saw cuts to hospitals, and Markham Stouffville Hospital should have been expanded a long, long time ago, but it was this Liberal government that expanded the Markham Stouffville Hospital. And I say a big thank you not only to the government, but I also say a big thank you to Minister Michael Chan and to Helena Jasic, because I know you were great advocates down at Queen's Park for us, and we're going to open up that hospital in the spring of next year. So thank you to the both of you. I've seen a real decency in Sandra Pupatello. She cares about children. She cares about women and getting them involved in politics. She cares about what's important to all of us, and that is to make sure that we have a community where we get a quality of life, where we can get health care, where jobs are being created, that for the reasons that all of us, whether it was our parents, our grandparents, or yourselves came over here for. She wants to make sure that the future is bright here, not just for Markham, not just for York Region, but for all of Ontario, and I think that will happen with a Premier Pupatello. So congratulations, Sandra. We're really happy that you're in this race. Thank you.